find yourself getting passed by multiple cars, as I mentioned earlier on. So you're off in a very precarious situation, but he often finds himself in these places. Doesn't qualify as well as he races.
Up front, they are getting with Lee Aberdeen and Luca Varani, not very far apart at all here. But I just want to see how Alistair Haig deals with Marcello Kessler coming around the old hairpin.
I would say it's not the best decision they've ever made, just not having done that under the safety car, really.
Yeah, they're taking their pit stop strategies from Ferrari lately or something. What's going on?
In turn one, just too much gas on them, too much feet on the loud pedal, and unfortunately he's dropped him all the way down the order. But Philip Hammer is out in front by an 8.91 seconds. Dan Michael is a wall there, sir. And definitely doesn't want to be hitting that earlier on as well.
Difficult, the understeer is in the dirty air through that final corner because it's such a long corner and you get dragged off into the grass very easily. He'll have the slipstream down towards the chicane. Peterson was briefly alongside, but that slipstream has saved him and kept him in third.
Yeah, Varani now lost a little bit of time to Aberdeen, about half a second. Peterson is Pike's pushed Morton forward up ahead. He's got out of line. It's now Pike going to have a go at Werrell. Don't push him off. He's in the championship fight. Jack Werrell chasing down Carl Jacklin. Further down, Rob Williams and Chris Barnes.
Sensational run outside line now though for the heavy braking zone. Around the outside goes the Audi R8.
Look how much Miller's come back into play. Exactly. Miller's still such up. He's left on second and change. All of a sudden Miller's back in play.
On to the back end of Phil Jocelyn. So there's been a lot of movers and shakers in this first 2 laps here for race.
Absolutely serious racing league. Everybody's a lot have fun. Yeah, and it's all about the entertainment. So I hope everybody is enjoying themselves out there in the chat. We know that Ron is been enjoying himself watching the Burger King machines off into the grass a little bit there as they're really bunching up now.
Hello, everybody, and welcome back to a new season of the TVG GR86 series here from the Tanso Racing Group. Our calendar that takes us right the way through to the end of October will start here at Okayama, the full course for the opening round of our championship. And we've got a fantastic grid of 28 drivers, including 4 drivers with more than 4,000 I rating. Shows that we've got some real quality in the field here today. Maybe slightly less quality up in the booth. Myself, Ewan O'Leary and James Park. Certainly less quality in terms of driving ability than these guys.
Okay, I'll give you that one.
That's what I was trying to say.
Well, welcome in.
Yeah, what a great welcome. What a great opening. 2 races, same format as before in the last season, in case you weren't with us for the previous season of this GR86 series. We get an opening 20-minute race that comes after the 3-lap qualifying session that these guys get on their own. And then, after we've reversed the top 6, a 25-minute second race. Looking forward to this one again, James. I mean, it's a bigger field than actually what we've had in the past, but GR86 racing is always fantastic, even at small and slightly strange and less used circuits like this one.
Yes, absolutely. Good evening, everybody. Hope you're all well as well. A great opening there from Mr. O'Leary. Yes, Okayama, I think it's going to be a very interesting one as well, right? There's going to be a couple of places where these GR86s are going to want to have a go. They're going to want to have a go down into the first corner. Then they're going to want to have a go down into Williams. Now, if they can make the run through the Moss S side by side down into Atworth, it's all or nothing, basically. You should be able to get a job done there. Up into the hairpin, but it's when you get to the latter stages of the circuit, Revolver, Piper, Redman, Hobby Corner, they're all very difficult and they're not very long gaps between the two. So it could be very interesting to see how they get towards each other and whether or not anybody's going to go for an overtake through there. If they do, they're going to be big and brave and going to wear it on their sleeve. If they don't, well, they could be a little bit more sensible and survive. Coming out the penultimate corner, though, through Mike Knight down through the last corner, it's just it's a run as much as you can. It's a little dab of a brake going into the last corner just to get the rotation, and then other than that, it's all jobs are good and you can go for it full flat down into first corner. So it could be a very interesting one. And don't forget, we've got 28 cars as well, right? We haven't got a small grid hurtling down. It's a standing start, so they're all going to be going absolutely mental. Smoke aplenty heading down into turn 1, I think, and it will be whether or not who's going to survive turn 1 and whether or not they're going to be able to make it through Williams, because let's face it, you don't want your opening round and your opening heat ruined after turn 1, right? You want to last a little bit longer if you can.
I'm not sure I did a round last season, by the way, that was over 20 drivers. So to have 28 here for the start of a new season is absolutely wonderful. A good evening to everyone who's tuned in over on YouTube, of course. We've got plenty of racing coming up for you tonight on the JP YouTube channel. After this, some Super Formula Lights racing and then some real Super Formula racing if you're staying up late in Europe, or indeed if you're just staying up normal in the North America. Practice coming to an end. Qualifying about to begin. 3 laps on their own, as I mentioned before. And that will set the grid for this opening race. And of course, what sets the grid for the second race is a reverse grid of the top 6. Now, in the last season, I would say that made sense, actually. A top 6 reverse wasn't too much of the field. For the most part, it was either a third of the field or maybe slightly a bigger proportion than that. However, with 28 in the field, the amount of drivers who will benefit or not from a reverse grid is actually very minimal because of how few places in that reverse there is.
Yeah, kind of in a weird way. It doesn't really do a lot. It kind of keeps the faster guys at the front, right? And let's face it, we've got 10 pros, and they're kind of expected to be at the front. And I think we're kind of expecting them to be at the front. So the likes of Scott McFall there as well, Mark Brown, who's another one. You got Oliver Butterlick, Neil Kennedy. You know, all of these guys are probably going to already be at the front. So the top 6 is really kind of reversing the pros from 1 to 6. I would be very surprised if we see a Pro-Am in the top 6 for race number 2. And that's not disrespectful, But when you got the AMs at 6.2k, 4.2k, 5.2k, it's very hard for the pro-ams to break that. You know what I mean? That's a high-ranking driver that's going to be at the front. So, in a kind of weird way, the reverse top 6 doesn't really do anything apart from swap the pros around, I guess.
Yeah, it does very much keep those at the front of the field. One thing I would say, though, Peter Duke was very quick in practice for the Pro-Ams. He was in the top 6 on pure pace, so I don't think it's inconceivable for a Pro-Am to get into that top 6 and be reversed through the grid. So, for whatever, because of the start line being so far down here at Okayama, I think these first laps are actually going to count towards times. As they're not quite. It's just been registered on the system as a lap, which is slightly strange. You don't often see that. It's normally an out lap followed by the others. But anyway, so times won't come in for another minute and a half just yet. So I'll tell you about last season in the GR86 series. We're now calling the TVG GR86 series here with the Tanso Racing Group. In Pro, after a season that was actually longer than this one is going to be, Scott McFall was the overall winner, winning the Pro Championship by 75 points in the end, ahead of Dan Wareham. Ryan Dudley and Mark Brown were actually very close behind as well, so look out for those four, especially in Pro. Scott Brown won in Pro-Am, and so although he's a pro now, as far as I can work out.
He's been promoted.
He's been promoted, as it were. So we won't be seeing a repeat Pro-Am winner. He managed that by 56 points in the end over Neil Kennedy. And then in the AMs, it was the closest and most interesting, I would say, championship of them all. Stephen Parker Hamilton held on from Adrian Hadfield in the AM championship by just 17 points, despite losing around half of it, nearly half of his lead in that final round of the championship. He did just about manage to hang on, and as a result, Stephen Parker Hamilton is now a Pro-Am, and so is Adrian Hadfield. So there's a couple of the promotions, and we'll go through a couple more as we go through the evening as well. First time coming through then, as the benchmark will finally be set. Neil Kennedy over the line first. It's a 1:43.4, just about. Over the line as well goes Andrew Sharp. He goes a second quicker. That's much more like what you're expected to see, actually. But Scott McFall immediately sets a benchmark that's more realistic. 42.3 from him, and the reigning champion immediately showing why he was reigning champion, or is reigning champion, and was the winner of last season. He's very, very quick indeed, and showing that again here.
Yeah, he is, and he's doing a great job as well, Scott McFall. But there's a couple of others that are in and around. The times are coming in thick and fast, so we'll give them a minute or two to settle down here. We've got pretty much times on the majority of the grid. We've got 11 drivers left to set times, and Jack Holland was one of them. Alan McCain is another here. I think the thing with multi-class as well, although we've got a very short beginning lap in beginning race, is 20 minutes, right? It's not exactly very long. It'd be interesting to see if lap cars come into an equation. I'd be interested to know if lap cars, especially those who have their own little bit of drama, right, being in the beginning of this race, whether or not they end up being involved in lap car drama as well. I don't know if they should do, but you never know.
Yeah, I think it should remain. The classes should remain to themselves. I don't think we are going to see much lap traffic. If someone has, real issues, then maybe, but I don't think so. To be honest, don't forget the damage is off in this series, so they won't have to come down pit lane to make any repairs. That they will just carry on even after a crash, and we did see some spectacular ones last season that obviously they didn't need any repairs for. So. Yeah, we will see if we get lap traffic. I personally don't think so, especially actually because this circuit is actually relatively long for these cars. I mean, 1 minute 42, 0.1 for Scott McFall now. He's gone that little bit quicker. He's 3 tenths ahead of Andrew Sharp now. And, that's a pretty long way around, really. You have to lose quite a lot of time. I'm somewhat surprised that we're actually using the full layout here for Okayama, because it is quite long for these cars. But certainly not the longest we're going to see this season. We've got the likes of Imola, Navarra as well to go to. So we are using a bit less of the short and sweet tracks maybe that the GR86 series is used to, but some longer ones as far as these cars are concerned in this calendar as well.
You would not want to put these round the short track. Oh, ouch, Peter Duke. This short track is short. It's almost Brands Indy short. You know, it's down to the end of the straight and then it's turn right. And you can see in the track map on the right hand side, what you do is you go round the turn 1, which is where we're at the moment. Just before you go into the left hand of Williams, you see an exit road. That's where you would turn right and you would link up to Piper Corner, and then you would kind of do the bottom half of the track map. And it would be, I suppose it probably might still be a minute or so lap, but it would be very tough for 28 cars to get round, I believe, because of how short it would be. I did it in the SR8 and oh my dearie me, I felt dizzy after it because I'd gone round it so often. But I don't know, these medium length kind of almost circuits, we're not Spa length, we're not Le Mans length, thank God. So these medium length circuits might be all right. I think we've got the right number of cars for the track layout that we've got, and I think that any shorter could just be a little bit chaotic.
And the short track in the SR8 would make you feel dizzy. That is too short for those for those cars, that's for sure. But for these, I don't know. I think it would work well. But the fact that we've got the back straight here for the draft to really take hold, I think is a good thing for the racing. And we'll see the effects of that when we actually get to it. The final lap times are coming in then. Jens Gussen's coming across the line in 6th place. All of the ones drivers ahead of him have already finished their times. Scott Brown as well, newly a pro driver, of course. Not improving on this lap from the looks of that. He's just ahead of Oliver Bultnick, who is also completing his 3 laps at the moment. They all get the track to themselves, of course, but they only get 3 times around here. So Scott Brown will go over the line in a few moments' time, but Bultnick is the more likely one to improve. Not many people improving after their second lap, which seems to have been the optimal one. They were just building up for the first one. Second one went a bit quicker, and this third one, we're not seeing very many improvements.
No, but a few off-tracks are taking note of that as well. We've still got Stephen Wild, Curtis Matthews and Steve Parker Hamilton, who have not got times on the board here. So I think the off-tracks have been playing aplenty, and they're very easily done at Okayama as well. If you've ever driven the circuit, you will know. So, yeah, it'd be very interesting to see. Good evening, Salty Sailor. Burst, he says. Atkinson, S. Atkinson, I think that's Sean Atkinson, is in YouTube chat. And then Boldilocks is in there as well. He's playing some D4 with this on. I don't know what D4 is. Do you know what D4 is?
Nope.
Nope.
Could be anything, to be honest.
Yeah, you'll have to tell us what that is. I don't know what that is.
So there we go. And I can't imagine Sean Atkinson will be very active in a moment because we're about to go racing. He's just qualified in. Where is he? I found Terry Atkinson. That's not what I'm looking for.
21st.
Not sure how I missed him, but I did. 21st for him then in qualifying, as we see those final drivers setting times or not. In the case of Adrian Hadfield, as he just comes to a stop on the back straight, returns back to pit lane just in time for the session to be complete. So it looks like 26 will set times. Stephen Wild and Curtis Matthews didn't get to set times. They must have had off tracks in all 3 of their laps. Let's have a look at the starting grid then for the opening round of the championship. It's Scott McFall who will start on the pole ahead of Andrew Sharp, with Mark Brown and Oliver Butnick on the second row. Peter Duke, the first of the Pro-Ams, is 5th ahead of Jack Holland, Jens Gussens, and then in 8th place, Nelson Carvalho in row 4. Peter Woodham at Woodmore and Andy White round out the top 10, with newly promoted pro driver Scott Brown ahead of Lee Rylands next. Neil Kennedy and Mark Proctor are on row 7, with Alan McCain 15th. Dan Forster 16th, and of Stephen Parker Hamilton, the AM winner from 1 season ago. Terry Atkinson is on the pole for the AM class, just ahead of Tim Walters and Adrian in Hadfield. Sean Atkinson's 21st ahead of John Johnston, with Scott Bell and Anthony Jones on row 12. Michael Vester and Dave Clark next, followed by Stephen Wild and Curtis Matthews. So those are the 28 drivers, and they're all gridding up by the looks of things. We're going to have a very lively opening race.
Yeah, it's going to be a very, very interesting one, this will be. And it's told us it's Diablo 4. So I have played Diablo 4. Didn't quite get into Diablo 4. Got to be honest.
Doesn't know what it is, but anyway.
It's, I don't know, have you played Path of Exile? Ever heard of Path of Exile? Character?
No.
Oh, okay.
Won't be surprised to learn. No. I'm not very well clued up on games, to be honest with you. So there you go. Despite what I do, you would think I'm very clued up.
Well, I think I thought you might have had an idea of what they are.
No, absolutely rubbish.
Well, there you go.
Don't ask me for the name of anything. Anyway, the countdown is ticking down, and we're almost about to go racing. It's standing starts, of course. It's the TVG GR86 series here from the Tanso Racing Group, and the first round about to get underway with reigning champion Scott McFall off from the front. It's a decent start from he as they all get very slowly underway. Getting these cars up to speed is a bit of a mission. Peter Duke has made a good start as the leader of the Pro-Ams, although he's getting under pressure from Brutnick and Holland on the way in towards turn number 1. They stay side by side and they get through relatively single file at the front of the field. Good start for Scott McFall, who leads, and decent one for the Pro-Am leader Peter Duke as well, who slotted into line in 4th.
Yeah, but Scott got the whole shot. He did what he had to do. He pulled away. You can see they're still 2 and 3 wide further back. At one point during Williams, there was almost a 3-wide battle. Andy White on the screen at the moment, 4th in class. Lee Ryland's trying to go around the outside in the 382 machine. It's going to be an interesting run. We've got Nilton Carvalho is on the left-hand side of your screen at the moment. He's alongside Jens Goosen's just gotten through. Andrew Sharp from Familiar Motorsports just slotted into 2nd place there with Scott McFall on front, and Nilton Carvalho. Whoa! There was a torpedo.
Oh, no. It was. White has gone around and he's dropping down the field, I'm afraid. Kennedy as well. Oh, it's chaos. It's carnage. We were waiting for the moment where disaster would strike, because 28 cars around here is a bit of a crowd, and it happened down into the hairpin. Turn number 5, we've got our first big incident of the season.
Yeah, he just missed his braking. Oh no, he makes it was contact.
Got hit.
Bang.
Yeah. Look at this behind. Oh goodness. No chance for those behind to avoid. No chance for the driver spun around either, because you're in the middle of the road with the onrushing pack right behind you, and he didn't stand a chance, unfortunately. So a few incidents, but as I mentioned, damage is off, and so you will be able to get back into the race. Oh, side by side for the lead here in Pro-Am as Peter Duke. Oh, it was not the lead quite, but Peter Duke doesn't want to drop too far backwards, otherwise he will be in the clutches of Woodmore, who is closing in on the back of this group now. It's Jack Holland first of all, and then Oliver Butnick trying to get through at the moment on the Pro-Am leader, who's trying to maintain his lead over those other drivers in his class. Woodmore latching onto the back of this group, trying to get into that lead maybe, but at the moment Duke hanging on.
Yeah, he is at the moment. He's doing a fine job as well. It's Peter Duke there. He's been obviously clearly got out and got some practice in, because he's sitting 4th overall with the likes of Peter Woodmore behind Oliver Butnick, Jack Holland all in and around him. It's a very tough group of drivers he's got around him, so he's going to have to be a little bit careful on how he gets on here, but he's doing a fine job currently at the moment. Stephen Parker Hamilton, the newly promoted Pro-Am, last season's Am winner, has just cleared Alan McCain, who is effectively a pro, and Terry Atkinson's leading the Pro-Ams. You can see on the left-hand side there, he's got a 2.2 set gap over Walters, as has Duke with 1.3 over Woodmore. So as you can see, Parker Hamilton and Alan McCain going side by side.
Classes get quite complicated, don't they? Because look at this, you wouldn't expect Stephen Parker Hamilton to be in a battle, but he is side by side with McCain, because he's a former Am driver against a current pro, and right round the outside, the new Pro-Am prevails, the Pro prevails ahead of the Pro-Am. So there you go. We can, and now it looks like there is a battle. Looks like there's loads more battles actually when you put it all in one go, doesn't it? John Johnston spins around at the 3rd last corner. Let's have a look at what happened there. Was he helped, or did he just get on the power too soon? You'd think that you wouldn't be able to spin these cars on traction because they're not very powerful, but you can, as John Johnson just proves.
Yeah, they're very rear end happy. The GR86s don't like having the throttle slammed. As you can see, these guys continue to fight, so it is well possible to spin them here. As Peter Duke, Peter Woodmore, Oliver Boltonic are all locked in a battle.
That was very close for Boltonic, going around entirely as he was scraping along the side of Peter Duke, and now Woodmore
straight.
And on the straight, he spins around. He's done a very nice 360, and he's back going again. But the pole sitter in Pro-Am now drops to third as Jens Goossens gains time. And he's gone. Oh, there's contact down there too. Goossens tried to take the lead, and Peter Woodmore comes out the other side of it.
You can't... Two things. First off, don't crash on the straight. Not even sure why you're even crashing on the straight. This track is wide enough for you to be able to make moves here. Jan Goossens just sends it. That was a well turn-in, well early there from the car on the outside, and unfortunately that's what it caused as well. So now the Pro-Ams with Peter Woodmore turning in exceptionally early on Jens Goossens has put Jens further back. He's now leading the Pro-Ams. Peter Duke is back in second with Mark Proctor in third, who's come out in the middle of nowhere, and Steve Parker Hamilton is now battling Jens Goossens in the Pro-Ams. So a lot going on there, and unfortunately crashing on the straight.
Your favourite things.
Drives me insane. There's so much track here as well.
Here we go, side by side for 10th now as Goossens tries to make up some of those places on the inside of Alan McCain. Oh, and Steve Parker Hamilton's gone, and so has Goossens too. They've both got off at turn one. Not sure how Goossens ended up out there, but Steve Parker Hamilton just tried to take advantage of the side-by-side ahead and spun around. There's a car spinning in the background there as well. This is Parker Hamilton on his own. Oh, and Goossens maybe doesn't give quite enough room, and for the second moment in the space of a lap gets spun around in a slightly odd manner.
Yeah, you've got to come on. You can't. You've got to be leaving room either way. And when somebody comes across the nose, either the outside driver's turning in early or the inside driver's not hitting the apex. So we'll let them figure out what went on there. Lee Rylance is trying to come back through the field in currently 20th, just about to go up the inside there of Stephen Wild and get the job done on him.
Oh, spin, Hatfield. Hatfield's off.
Hatfield's there.
Goodness, he's in the middle of the road. He's okay. He's just out the middle of the road. But he's spun. I'm not sure if he got help. But this might tell us. Side by side. He was quite aggressive there at turn 5, and then bang. There you go.
There was contact with a 258.
Certainly was. Who was that? Scott Brown, the new pro, making contact with him. Quite interesting, isn't it, that Brown now in pro. Even if he was still in Pro-Am, he wouldn't be leading at the moment. Even though he was dominant last season, it's strange how those things work out.
Yeah, it does. I think it just goes to show that he's in and around the people he needs to be in, isn't he? You know, and at the end of the day, he's sitting down in 13th for Scott Brown. He's got his work cut out. He knows he's going to have to put in a lot more effort, a lot more practice. You've been promoted, you're going to have to do the work, right? If you don't, well, you're probably going to end up back down in Pro-Am very, very quickly. So for him, he's got to put the work in, and that's where it's going to come from. Practice, 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 practice. However, down in the AMs at the moment, we've got Sean Atkinson and Scott Bell running side by side there. Atkinson in that TS Liveries machine, Bell in the Tanso machine in front, and this is a battle for 5th and 6th in the AM class overall. So great little battles happening all the way through as these guys coming down into Atwood.
It's turn 4, the most important corner on this circuit, arguably. The run on the straight to come after. Look at the draft train that's going on there at the bottom of your screen, by the way. It's all going on ahead of these guys. And there's a little bit of side-by-side too. Clark down the inside here of Jens Goossens, who's had quite the day so far. And
he's going round again.
Contact.
He's going round again.
He just about does. Just about does, but Goossens holds on around the outside through turn 6. That was quite impressive, and he hangs on to 16th place. Slightly fearful that his day would go from a lot of contact to even more there.
I thought he was going round. I physically thought he was going round there because it never normally works with.
Big he is now. Clark is. He's just been turned there, Dave Clark, by Lee Rylance. Pretty obviously, actually. Not intentional, of course, but a very big misjudgment.
Oh yeah, absolutely. He absolutely just sent him round there, and that was about it. We've got Jack Holland. He's sitting in fourth at the moment. He's got Oliver Boltonic behind him. So we'll see how these guys get on. But there's a lot of eagerness that might need to be curbed at some point here, Mr. O'Leary, because although damage is off, right, you kind of, want to be quite doing things sometimes like crashing on a straight.
Stephen Parker Hamilton's gone briefly off, by the way. M15 put back on again now and is okay. This is about for fourth place between Holland and Butnick. Now, is there going to be a push here or a move? It's going to be a move for Oliver Butnick down the inside into the hairpin. Pretty tentatively initially, but as soon as they got into the actual corner itself, he makes his way through into fourth pretty easily. So that was a good pass from Butnick, and Holland drops back into fifth position. The front three away, and they're on their own at the moment as we approach half distance. This is going to be a 12-lap opening race.
Yeah, Peter Woodmore currently leading the top six reverse situation. There he is there, but he does have Nilton Carvalho climbing all over the back of him at this moment in time. So it'd be interesting to see what Nilton can do and whether or not he can take that pole position away. When we talk about that top six, it's so vitally important as well, because I'm going to state the obvious, right? You finish in seventh, you're in seventh for the next race. You finish in sixth, you go up to the front. So it's a big jump for them. It's 6 places gained all of a sudden for just literally finishing in one position. So for Nilton Carvalho, he really wants it. He really is going to have to go for it and try and get that pole position with 9 minutes to go.
Yeah. This is going to be a big battle here, and probably the biggest, hardest fought, because of how important it is. Through turn 2 they go, and then towards turn 3, and then towards turn 4, as I said earlier, most important corner on this circuit. The right-hander that seems to go on maybe slightly longer than it's really invited to. It just curves around gently at the very end, this hairpin, as you're running up the hill and utilising the exit. Here comes Carvalho using that exit right now against Woodmore, the leader in Pro-Am, and surely he's going to be slightly disincentivised to fight because of his status in the lead. However, he will want 6th place, but there's what prevails. He breaks early because he wants to win the race in class rather than finish 6th.
Yeah, I don't know about that. I suppose in hindsight he's probably going to lose places to the pros in the reverse grid anyway. You see Tim Walters just, he's getting swamped, unfortunately, for Tim. Lost the place to Scott Brown. He's got Parker Hamilton climbing all over him now, and Neil Kennedy. They're battling side by side once again. Jens Goossens is in there, who's unfortunately done more pirouettes at the Ballerina this evening already, and we're only in race 1. So what's he going to be doing for the rest of the evening? I can tell you that much. Boltonic is now locked in that battle up front, but you can see these guys having a right little ding-dong down there.
Yeah, they are. Fantastic battling, and Stephen Parker Hamilton involved in it again. Oh dear, what's going on there? Is that just the camera?
Just the camera angle, yeah.
Okay, sorry, I thought someone was in the tyres, dear me. Goossens was the one looking up the inside then in this battle for what is 12th place overall. The classes, all 3 of them, involved in it as well, as Holland and Butnick going side by side again through the opening few corners here. Looks like Butnick is prevailing so far and has done in 4th place, and there he goes through into 4th position and stays in 4th now as well into turn 4. So good pass from him, and good debut so far for these two to both be in the top 5.
Yeah, they're doing a great job at this moment in time. Boltonic there in 4th, Holland sitting in 5th. They want to make sure they can get to the end now and not cause anybody any dramas. Woodmore is under attack behind from Peter Duke. Duke's got caught back onto his curtain tires. Just see it in the background, the other green and light green, dark green car. So he's going to have to be well aware that Peter Duke is coming here, and is going to try and make a move as best as he possibly can. So he's having a right little ding-dong further down as well. Very, very interesting fights happening at this moment in time.
There is only one for a class lead here, and that's the one you're seeing on your screen at the moment. Kennedy's got off the road, I'm afraid to say, in that big group. Neil Kennedy is down the hairpin. There's been so much going on down at the hairpin. If you were at this track in real life, you'd want to sit down there, I suppose, because that's where it's all been going on. Alan McCain just afterwards also went off the road, and a change for the lead in Pro-Am. Well, it's all going on here, and Woodmore is off. It's at the 3rd last corner. What's happened to Woodmore? He was ahead of Peter Duke. It looks like he spun this on his own because he's not close enough to anyone. It's on the power again as well. He was clearly feeling the pressure of Duke bearing down on him, and he's just got on the power too soon.
Yeah, definitely. I think the pressure was coming there for Woodmore. He's now back down behind Mark Proctor, so we'll keep an eye and see what he's able to do. You can currently see, as you saw, just Oliver Bortonic going round there with Jake Holland once more. We've also got Tim Wild, Parker Hamilton, Jens Goosen. They're right next to each other. Parker Hamilton has just passed Walter. Goosen's just passed Waters as well, so I'm hoping that wasn't Waters. I think that was just literally, he might have been letting these two little guys have a good old battle on their own. He's now got Neil Kennedy tucked in behind him. We've got Adrian Hadfield having a fight with Sean Atkinson, and then further down is Anthony Jones and Dan Foster scrapping it out with John Johnson and Michael Vester. So there's still groups of battles and all sorts going on throughout this, and we've got 5 minutes remaining.
Stephen Parker Hamilton through into 13th, though Jens Goosen's very close indeed. Oh, and Aidan Hadfield has a look up the inside of Atkinson. Should get that done now with a run up the hill. Yep, a better run. And so third, sorry, not third, to be sixth in class. Stephen Parker Hamilton and Goosen's exchange positions again down the straight. And it's the AM champion who prevails. There is Neil Kennedy, Hadfield, I should say. Adrian Hadfield on the inside of Atkinson. And through he goes up into 19th position. So plenty of battles going on, and this is the biggest group of them all. They are continuing to exchange positions, and now Goosen's is the one trying to go through, and he finally does.
He needs to be.
No, he does again.
Yeah, do you know what? Do you know what? I sit here and I say to them about opening up the steering and just giving the guy on the outside something to force about, think about. The problem is you do that in a way that Jens Goosen's is doing it, you're going to end up coming across somebody's nose. It's very, very aggressive, and it's not even an opening. It's just letting the car run wide altogether and giving no room on the outside. He's got to be mightily careful that if he does that one time, he will go across the nose of Steve Parker Hamilton. Because I can tell you what, there's only so many times somebody behind will brake to let you come out in front of them like that. So I think that could be very, very interesting to see if he can survive till the end of these two races, keep doing that same aggressive nature of driving. Sooner or later, he's going to end up going round.
I know what you mean. As down the inside, McCain hangs on from Scott Brown. He went off briefly at turn one, did McCain? Not, oh dear, in contact! Oh, he saved it. Wow, as they were getting on the power there, McCain was very nearly tipped around entirely by Scott Brown, who on the back straight now will surely get through. Look at the fanning out, weaving going on in the background from any position outside of the top 10. It's being very hardly fought over, and there is a big dive down the inside from McCain. He cut off the corner and he gets into 11th as Rylands and Kennedy now go side by side as well. Good battle between these two. Steady. They very nearly get into each other. And round the outside he will go into 15th place for Lee Rylands as they head towards the line again. It will be 2 laps to go.
Yeah, Scott Mafula. Sean Atkinson has had a little bit of a drama, and it would be rude not for. We just saw that. We thought he got away cleanly. So what actually happened? Oh, you're on the grass. That's never going to be a good start. No, unfortunately for Sean Atkinson, he does go round the man multitasking, driving and listening to the broadcast at the same time. It'd be rude for us not to show the fact that you spun, dear sir. But Scott Brown and Alan McCain are having a right little ding-dong.
They certainly are. There's plenty of them through the field as well. Down towards turn one they go. This group from 11th place back down to 18th pretty much is covered by not very much space at all, and they're almost all in that one camera shot there as the short run through turn 1 and 2 is put behind them again. Down the hill they'll go. Brown towards at the inside.
Oh, it's going. Oh,
no,
I thought
just waiting. You've got to wait for the back straight. There's very little point going for it at turn 4.
I know, I suppose on that side you would get done again going up on the straight, wouldn't you? Let's be real about it. But I really did think Scott was going to have a go. I thought that was it. He was just going to have a go. And he's going to... Oh, which way is McCain sending him? I can't quite work out what way McCain's defending him. Oh, that was late.
Well,
that's braking zone break.
Well, yeah, I think McCain was well within his rights to do that and just stay firmly planted to the inside. Brown made the decision at the end to go for the outside as Jens Goosen's now closes in. and it's a 3-car battle effectively. They do seem to be a little bit quicker than the rest. What they are doing is providing a bit of protection at the moment for Atkinson, the AM leader, who at the moment is 6 places ahead of his second placed driver in that class. It's been a great drive from him. I don't think we expected to see an AM driver in the top 10, but that's what we've got.
Yeah, definitely. You know, fair play to him if he's driven above and beyond. We've got Oliver Bortnick and Jack Holland having a right little ding-dong down here. They've been side by side a couple of times. They're going to be side by side. Again, I'm going to keep an eye on Scott McFall. We're on the final lap of the race here. And Bortnick is on the right-hand side, and Holland on the green and, well, light green, dark green car on the inside. Bortnick's going to try and let that run wide, open up the power early. He should slot in behind him. There you go. Now he's going to get a run. How early is he going to do it, though? He's done it before the bridge. Don't do it on a straight. Please don't crash on a straight. That would be the be-all and end-all of it. Please don't do that.
They will stay off of each other, and down into the corner they go. Late on the brakes, and Holland just about hangs on. Should hang on for the rest of the lap now, although it's not a given here at Okayama. Here is Scott McFall, the champion from 1 season ago. After a week or so away, he's not lost any of his speed, that is for sure. Scott McFall, through the final couple of corners, he's going to start exactly where he left off. Champion last season and winner in race 1 here at Okayama as well. The first round of the TVG GR86 series is going to go to Scott McFall, who wins by over 2 seconds in the end. Chased all the way by Andrew Sharp, who we didn't speak much of in that race at all, but a quiet and steady race to second in his debut. And Mark Brown finishes on the podium as well.
Yeah, great job there from these guys. Peter Duke's going to come over, take the win in the Pro-Ams. Mark Proctor's going to follow him over in second, where Peter Woodmore will take third place in the Pro-Ams there. And a great job from these guys. Great job from Terry Atkinson, sitting up in 10th place overall, but the overall winner, and he did it by quite a little bit of a country mile over Tim Walters, who got second there, with Dave Clark, who's going to come over the line in third.
Yep, and then after that, Forster just beating Bell to the line. And the last remaining battle, John Johnston just ahead of Michael Vesta. Johnston, of course, recovering from that spin out of the third last corner earlier on in the race. Finishes 25th. And shows, actually, these guys finishing a minute and 10 back. You know, they're only 30 seconds away from being lapped. So are those final 5 minutes in the reverse grid race going to put them a lap down? We will wait and see. But first of all, the race 1 results, headed, of course, by the reigning champion, Scott McFall. Andrew Sharp finished second ahead of Mark Brown. Then it was Jack Holland who beat Oliver Bortnick and Nelson Carvalho to the line in a race-long battle. Peter Duke finished first in Pro-Am ahead of Mark Proctor and Peter Woodmore, the podium drivers there. And then Terry Atkinson, dominant in the AMs, and he's got a big lead to start the second race with as well, because the next 7 drivers, all in between him and his nearest rival. Alan McCain beating Jens Goossens. Scott Brown, not McBrown, just Brown, finishes in 13th place ahead of Stephen Parker Hamilton and Lee Rylands. Neil Kennedy and Andy White. Then we've got the second in AM, Tim Walters, in 18th position. Pretty remarkable, really. Aidan Hadfield and Dave Clark round out the top 20, with Dave Forster, Scott Bell, Sean Atkinson and Anthony Jones are far on drive within 1 minute. Then John Johnson, Michael Vester, Stephen Wild and Curtis Matthews. So I know damage is off and that helps, but everybody getting to the end.
Well, yeah, exactly. And I don't think anybody was not going to get to the end, right, with the fact that obviously damage is off. So, you know, if you spin and have an incident, give it
any credit then.
Well, the thing is, you can't end up in the pits, can you? If you know, a couple of drivers might have ended up in the pits for some of it, but the damage is off. It's fair play to them, you know, and yeah, why not? go and have a go. It'd be a good. I've never driven a series with a damage off, to be blatantly honest with you, before. So yeah, that should be an interesting one. But now might be a good time to give our sponsors a mention here as well. Don't forget, it is the TVG GR86. It is the Vape Guru there as well. You can go and check out the Vape Guru, largest independent vape store, both on the high street and online. www.thevapeguru.co.uk. You can check them out on Facebook. /the Vape Guru Walsham on that one. Then other sponsors, co-sponsors again. TH Jordan are back once more. You can go and check them out at thjordanlimited.com. Clark St James, also at clarkstjames.com. TS Livery Designs, you can go and check them out on Facebook. And Conspit, which do steering wheels and things like that. You can go and check them out at conspit.com. We've also got Techsport. They are on board once more with us as well. www.facebook.com/Techsport Racing, and available on Instagram. And then Blue Angel Kennels as well. You can go check them out. All links down in the description below. That would be absolutely amazing. And yeah, that's me getting through them.
Well done. And big thanks to all of those for supporting the series, a great series that it is, and just so impressed with the amount of drivers we've got in the field here as well. We know what the racing is like. We have come to expect that now. However, the field size here, the fact they've been able to expand the field by almost 50% from most of the races last season into this season is just fantastic. I mean, if you get together all of those who competed in the last season, you get to about 35-ish. So, you know, we're already almost at 35 after just one round. It's a very good start.
Yeah, absolutely. I think to grow a series takes a lot, right? And there's a couple of people I recognise who have joined up on this series from other series that we do. Curtis Matthews, OGRL. James Hillerick, I've seen in the list. He's also from OGRL. Kenny Bourgeois, also from OGRL. I've seen on the list of drivers registered for this series. So, you know, they're pulling drivers in now, in and around up from other series. And it's great to see. And I think more series should do that and allow and let drivers and go out and experience other series. There's loads of series out there that, you know, not only us broadcast, but other broadcasters broadcast as well, from NASCAR GT4s, all sorts of things. So go get yourselves out there. If you just don't want to be doing a one series, you know, go and do something else for a change. There's loads going on at the moment.
Yeah, and the great thing about this as well is that you don't have to buy a car. You won't have to buy very many circuits either. This is a free circuit, for example. I think it is the only free circuit on the calendar, in fairness.
I think it is this season, isn't it?
Is it? It's not. No, Navarro's not free, is it? And neither is Oschersleben.
I don't think so. Was Oschersleben free when it came out? I can't remember.
All right. Racing Lounge is back.
No, the thing is, they change it, don't they? It gets changed every single like update. There's, you know, you end up getting free content with something, and then things that you think are free are just not good free. So, you know, it all gets very dramatic as well. And as Sean Hackson said, don't forget to like the stream as well, subscribe, and turn on the bells. So then, thank you very much.
Yeah, thanks very much. We're at 2.2 now subscribers, which is good, and plenty of people watching as well. So big thanks to you, and thanks for spending your Sunday evening here with us. It's first of 3 broadcasts this evening, by the way, especially if you're over in North America. There'll be a few broadcasts at a nice time for you, so you're more than welcome to join us for that as well. But it's time for the second race here, the reverse grid race, and the top 6 have been put like this, with Newton Carvalho on the front ahead of Oliver Butnick. It is Jack Holland and Mark Brown on row 2, with Andrew Sharp and Scott McFall next. Then those who finished in the order that they're going to start here. Peter Duke first in Prime ahead of Mark Proctor and Peter Woodmore. Then the first in Am, Terry Atkinson. Alan McCain and Gersons will be on the 6th row of the grid. In 13th place will be Scott Brown alongside Parker Hamilton. Lee Rylands and Neil Kennedy on row 8 ahead of Andy White, Tim Walters. Then it's Aidan Hadfield and Dave Clark rounding out the top 20. Forster, Bell, Atkinson and Jones round out 24. And then at the very end of the field, it's Johnston, Bester, Wild and Matthews to round out the grid. They're all a bit more eager in the second race, and they're all on the grid already. We're ready for race 2, the reverse grid 25-minute race here in the TVG GR86 series underway. Now finally it's a wonderful start from Peter Duke down on row 4. He's flying through the middle of the standings already, up to 5th and battling for 4th as well. Side by side as well for 2nd position as Butnick and Holland battle it out, but it's going to be Carvalho who prevails overall. He leads from the front as he started and leads the field down in towards turn 3 and 4 for the first time.
You know, I'm not worried about him getting away. He took the whole shot, absolutely amazing. But look at Oliver Boltonick and Jack Holland. They're coming at him like an absolute rapid rate of knots here. So this could be drama unless these two guys from Tanso Racing Team.
Oh no! Carvalho, the leader, has gone around. He's safely off into the grass, and so no one else is going to be collected. But Boltonick is through after contact. Well, that's going to be dramatic and talked about afterwards for sure. Holland's got the slipstream here, and so he's going to be dragged along into 2nd. They're moving on the straight and moving into each other. Boltonick defends on the inside on the way towards the hairpin. Brown with the inside line is going to get up to 2nd already after finishing 3rd in the first race. He's edging over into the left-hander, and he's through into 2nd position ahead of Holland, who's down to 3rd.
Oh, I thought Brown was going to go round. I thought he was going across the nose of Holland there. That would have caused him a massive amount of drama. There's been an incident at the back with Alan McCain. There's been big puffs of smoke. They're 2-3 wide further back here. As you can see what's going on, this is going to take a bit of a lap or so for this all to settle down. You've got Andrew Sharp from the Familiar Motorsports team there with Peter Duke on the inside. They're having a right little ding-dong. Scott McFall's up 2 places. He's chasing down Jack Holland now. So there's, Andrew Sharp, did he hold it? No.
Oh, dear. He was forced off there, I think, having seen it live anyway. Couldn't say for sure, but that's what it looked like to me. Let's have a look on the way towards these final corners. He is on the outside line here. It's ever diminishing returns, but he was forced there. That's not his fault, unfortunately.
No, the gap just closed and closed and closed on that one, and you were never going to make it through. Somebody, if they keep coming out of noses or across noses like this, like that, that is exactly what... This is what I mean. You can't keep coming across the nose of people. They can't disappear on the outside, right? I'm not being rude. We're not in Harry Potter, and they can't just evaporate themselves off the side of the circuit. They are there. You have to give them room. It cannot be a continuation of just keep cutting across the nose and hope the other guy breaks. It's never going to happen. It happens in NASCAR all the time when you go across the nose and expecting somebody to not be there. It's just not going to happen for you. Give them room, and then you will survive.
And unfortunately for Proctor, he hasn't survived and drops back to the pit lane. So that's and by the way, Carvalho's a retirement. We saw that incident on lap 1. He's retired from the race as a result of that. Oh, that was close.
Oh my God,
that was very close to Ghostens, who's now got Forster up his inside, and Forster's going to go straight through here on the way towards the left-hand hairpin. This is turn 8.
Parker Hamilton's just gone round.
Been Parker Hamilton now.
Yeah, I think that was all on his own. I don't believe anybody touched Parker Hamilton on that one. I think it was literally all on his own and away, but you can't, you've got to be very, very careful of what you're doing here. I believe there's a big enough gap. Yeah, he is. He's just all on his own for Stephen Parker Hamilton there. But Mark Brown is up front. He's got McFall, Boltonick and Holland in and around him. McFall gained up the most. He's 3 places. Dan Foster's up 11. Woodmore has just had a moment. He's lost the lead over Duke, just cleared him on that one. And so did Lee Ryland. So a lot of people making waves because of that mistake. But the top 3 nose to tail at the moment. And let's hope they ain't nose coming across each other and ended up off the side of the circuit.
Small slide there as we go onto the front straight, back straight I should say again. Scott McFall now involved in this group, by the way. Took a while for the race 1 winner to get back involved, but here he is. Brown just pulls up in front of him. He knew exactly how long his car was there as he goes to the outside, but that may be his downfall as Scott McFall goes to the inside here, and it's going to turn to the outside for sure, but he will get through, will he? Around the outside at 6 and 7. He's going to have to hold it there for the next 3 corners. Here he goes right round the outside. He's going to have the run here as well, and he's going to be through. Holland's going to push him too, and Brown's going backwards. defence from McFall because he knows Brown's going to be looking up the inside. He knows Holland's going to be looking up the outside, but he can't go anywhere. And McFall hangs on, defends again in towards turn number 10. And he is into second place. Finally, the race to winner looking to do the repeat.
Yeah, it looks like he's going to get a double done here again. As you say, that top 6 doesn't really put them fast pros back any further. Doesn't, you know, they're fighting again with each other. So we'll keep an eye and see on this. This is where I think if anything's going to happen, it'll be here. Dan Foster, Jens Goosen having a right little ding dong. We'll bring you up the splits just for a brilliant time there. You see Atkinson leading the AMs, Duke leading the pro-AMs, and Bolton leading the pros. Goosen's goes up the inside. Oh dear, he's gonna. Oh my God, blimey, governor.
Very close there. Was extremely close to contact as the front 4 make their way down towards turn 4 again, and the big moment, the big exit that's required if they want to battle for the race lead by the time they get down in towards the hairpin. And so on they go to the back straight. That's a very nice switchback move for Jens Goossens, who moves up. But here's the battle for the lead. Is Butnick going to hang on another lap here? They're only just at the kink in the straight, but they're not actually. They're very close to each other.
No.
McFall probably the closest to making a move, but not close enough.
Yeah, Andy White and Peter Woodmore here, and obviously we've got the Jens Goosen, Dan Foster, Neil Kennedy battle. Now Kennedy trying to come back his way through the field. He's started down in 16th. He's now up 4 places. So great job from him. Anthony Jones has had a bit of a moment down the order. Mark Proctor's also into the pits. Short of Steve Parker Hamilton's out. Neil Carvalho's out, and Scott McFall. Oh, there was contact further back because Jack Holland's just gone round.
I'm not sure there was contact. I think he might have just gotten the power too soon, but we'll have a look on the replay. Scott McFall made a slightly surprising move at turn 8, it's got to be said. And then behind, Holland, just lost it on his own, and very nearly the same for Brown, who actually saved it, but Holland couldn't quite, and so drops down the field. It leaves these two to battle for the lead, but surely Scott McFall was the only winner here. He was race 1 winner, of course, and it's taken him 7 minutes to go from 6th to 1st in race 2.
Yeah, it depends what Bolton is going to do. Me personally, I would stay with him. You know, try and follow his line.
Try.
Yeah, well, try and brake when he brakes, and lift when he lifts, and drive as he drives, and learn something. Because you're going to be, if you're going to stay there, right, you've got 17 minutes of holding with Scott McFall. So you might as well use them 17 minutes wisely and try and follow where he is at. He is obviously quick for some reason, or he's just well versed at Okayama. So you might as well try and stay with him and learn off him there as well. Steve Parker Hamilton, why did you quit out as well? You put whoops in YouTube chat, but I'm interested to know why you came out when the damage was off. I don't know why that was.
Don't know, but we've got 3 retirements now. That's what I said to you. It's a good thing that everyone got to the end of that first race. Nobody giving up, but unfortunately we've got a few out of the race here. I guess when you're in the first race there is the appeal of a second, but you know, this is your last chance here. McCain versus Sharp down in towards the hairpin. It's McCain on the outside here, and he should have the inside for the next 3 corners, which will give him the place. That's for 18th, but surprisingly that's for 8th place in the pro category, which makes it sound a bit more important, and Alan McCain has got that place.
Yeah, he is at the moment. I know other drivers from Vermilion with Andrew Sharp there, the likes of Ben Faulkner, Sam Chapman, are Australian drivers that drive for Vermilion as well. So Vermilion being a kind of national organisation, you know, this driver Andrew Sharp from America. So yeah, great job from them guys. They're getting kind of a multinational contingent of drivers involved in league racing, which is great to see. And we're going to jump back to Peter Duke and Peter Wood.
He's off.
Oh, he's off. Yeah, I did think he was coming in like an absolute rapid rate of knots there. I didn't think he was going to stop that one, to be honest with you.
The wipers just brushing away the dirt. Very slow onto the front straight. What's going on there? And he's trying to defend as well. And as a result of all of that, he's outbroke himself and just driven off into the gravel. So he's back down to 9th now, defending from Forster and Kennedy, who are very close behind. But that gives Woodmore the lead now, and the pro-am battle for the lead is actually a very interesting one.
Yeah, he's going to have to be a little bit careful, some of them late moves. And I know people like, you know, being a little bit forceful, but you can't be forcing it too much. If the driver's already moved and then you're going to go and hit the brake and start moving on them, it's going to be a very, very tough. Just be aware that obviously if you're going to do that, as Alan McCain looks like he's just he lost that position to Andrew Sharp. Sharp now going to go up the inside of John Johnston there. Johnston still on the outside there, sir. You cannot, and you are not clear. Now you're clear as Alan McCain tries to go around the outside as well. Johnston just kind of says, nope, off you go, sunshine. So, yeah, John Johnston defended from Alan McCain now.
Yep. Good job from him. In fact, moving up, I think. Or is he? No, he's just defending, isn't he? So, part of this group just defending and dropping back. Not a battle in his class, of course. He's 5th in that class, incidentally. The 4 behind him, all with problems so far in this race, and all a few seconds off the back of this group, which I'd describe it as one large group, really. Right from the leading battle in Pro-Am down, Woodmore is followed by Andy White, who we've spoken very little of so far, although not anymore. Jens Gustons is through. White seemed to make an unforced error there, really.
Yeah, I don't think there was any contact from Gooson's front end on White's rear. So I'm pretty sure that Gooson's managed to get through on that one just by White making the mistake. So we'll see how he can recover now, whether or not he can get back past Peter Duke. He's just had Dan Foster absolutely send it on him, mind you. And he's got to give him room on that inside line with also Andy White and Neil Kennedy trying to come through. So there's going to be a little 2, possibly 3 wide situation. Depends on how brave Kennedy, I suppose, in a really way, wants to be on this one. Is he going to go and send it? Go on. Oh, no, he doesn't.
No, not this time round. A bit wide there for White, who loses out to Holland here, recovering, of course, recovering through the field. Doesn't really matter how many overtakes you make in the pack here, because points are scored on a class basis and not an overall basis in this championship. And so these are positions just to get into a position to score points, and that was a late move. He makes slight contact with Forster, who is now somehow still in 9th place. Then Kennedy, who will get back down the inside, Holland will get back down the inside and get back through again. That was all very close, and fortunately they all got away with it.
They did just, I think. I think that was very, very close. Whether or not one of them was going to go round there, I seriously thought they were on that one. And then you can see the guys in front. This is Jens Goosens and Peter Woodmore. This is the battle for the lead in the Pro-Ams. This is going to be elbows out, knees deep. Let's go for it here, son, because they're not going to want to give this up very, very easily either. So this could end up in, well, tears, basically, is what I'm trying to say. And there, you can't back away. You can't quite push him off. They pushed the pass on this one.
Oh, here we go. Now he's going to pass, is he? No, not quite. Gustons, of course, the relatively new leader of this race here for Pro-Am, as he overtook Peter Woodmore, and now Woodmore just trying to reverse that change as Holland goes through on Forster in the background. There they pop into view. The group of 6 being split into, or a group of 7 rather, being split into a 3 and a 4 now, and this is why. He's side by side between Holland and Forster. Forster just breaking a little bit later on the outside, getting some joy initially, but Holland should be back to 9th now, and indeed is up to 9th. So that's another good pass for the 325 and up to 9th place, but still a long way from any class positions.
Yeah, it depends on what Foster's going to do now. He's obviously, that's a pro in front of him, so he's got to make a choice. Does he start going after him, or does he then decide, I'm going to let Neil Kennedy through, who's going to close on all over me? But the problem is for Foster, if he lets Kennedy through, he's going to have Andy White from the Pro-Ams right in behind him. So it's going to be a very tough decision for what Dan Foster wants to do now. Fight with Woodmore or fight with Holland in front, or let Kennedy go for it and possibly have a scrap with Andy White behind him. So yeah, all to play for here.
Certainly is. Down towards turn 1 go this group. 4 of them now, as I say, not involved in the leading battle for Pro-Am anymore, which will frustrate Forster and White probably more than it will Kennedy and Holland. Although Kennedy and Holland themselves will want to get themselves through this group, and they know that these overtakes don't really mean a lot other than if they're making them on each other, and they've got to get up through the field. Can they do that here on the outside line into turn 4? Well, sort of. Oh, maybe slight side to side, but not quite. And being on the outside there is going to really hamper Kennedy's run onto the back straight.
Oh. Yeah. Andy White was tucked in right behind Foster there as well, and then Kennedy come and took that gap away. Lucky that there was kind of a break going on in White's foot at the moment in time, as he's going to go try and run around the outside now. He's going to have the inside, if he can keep it on the inside there, just about given room, but how much more? I think Foster was driving so cautiously there. He was trying to give him room, as much as possible. Very, very tough. Whoa.
Oh, hello. We're back again.
Yeah, everybody went in.
Yeah, that was good. Kennedy there sliding right through the grass himself, and that would have been a bad moment. He's certainly letting Holland get away now, which is not good news at all. As far as his class position goes, that would be a battle for 6th place in class, if indeed he can get through, but that gap is growing now, and it doesn't look like he'll be able to get there. Less than 10 minutes to go. We're well over halfway through this race, and overall Scott McFall is leading by some distance all over again here. Won in race 1, of course, and he's come through the field to win in race 2. This is quite a statement, almost as if to say it's going to be same sort of story again. Last season he was a champion. It was by some distance, and at the moment he looks head and shoulders above the rest as well.
But there's drivers out of position. Drivers out of position. The likes of Andrew Sharp is kind of out of where he should be. Neil Kennedy being involved in an incident. So, I don't know, maybe there's competition coming for Scott McFall. I don't know how this season's going to pan out, to be honest with you, Mr. O'Leary. I'm not entirely sure, but we'll play it by ear and see what goes on as Andrew Sharp and Andy White. No, there's Terry Atkinson. Yeah, Terry Atkinson. Sharp's just about to go through it on the helmet.
Yep, side by side between the two, Sharp and Atkinson. So with a decision to make here with regards to this battle. Just backed out of it. That's probably the sensible one. Sharp going through into 13th then, but Clark still quite a few seconds behind Atkinson. It'd be very smart for the AM leader to just stay behind here. Once again, overall battles don't matter. Class positions certainly do, and you'd rather protect that margin if you're the AM leader in this situation.
Yeah, he's better off letting him to go, right? Let's be real. 1:42.81 for Sharp last time out. 1:44.17. So Atkinson is kind of hoping, it's a losing battle, right? Let him go, and I'll try and follow you as much as I possibly can. Looks like we've lost Curtis Matthews. He's had a bit of an incident with himself, as we've got Woodmore and Peter Duke involved in this battle in the Pro-Ams. This is for the podium in the Pro-Ams.
Yes, the second and third spots at the moment, because it looks like Gersons is away for now. Woodmore and Duke going to fight it out for second and third place by the looks of this. They go down the hill through turn 3, just barely a corner, and then turn 4, which certainly is late on the brakes, but on the inside line for Woodmore. That's surely going to ruin his run onto the back straight here. Peter Duke right behind him. Probably get a better run if there wasn't a big green Toyota in the way. Oh, he's looking to the outside, now looking to the inside. Bit of weaving on the straight here. Duke had to get on the brakes, and he's now flashing the lights. He's not pleased with the amount of weaving around he's had to do. Is he going to switch back to the inside one last time? Oh no, he's going to get straight into the back of him, and Woodmore's off the road. There was weaving on the straight, there was weaving through turn 4's exit, but now Woodmore's off in the gravel, and Peter Duke is up to second place. Well, he does come over quite late, does Woodmore, and he has already moved on the straight, of course, to defend, and so he's moving back to the racing line. I don't think he's made too many moves on the straight, but he has come across quite soon before the braking zone, and Peter Duke wanted to brake late and go round the outside of him by the looks of this.
Oh, he wasn't on the brakes.
Duke was, I think. I think he's... Well, it's hard to see the brake lights from up here, isn't it? Let's have a look downstairs. There you go. Yep, he's on the brakes.
Late on the brakes. I don't know.
Oh, you would be, wouldn't you, if you're trying to go around the outside?
So, trying to carry the momentum.
I'm willing to call that a racing incident for me. I know that Woodmore would disagree. I think I could fairly safely presume that. But there'll certainly be some things for race control to have a look at after this race, because there's been a lot of incidents so far.
Yes. Good luck, race control and stewards. That's all I'm going to say on that one. As you say, there's been quite a lot of ta-ta-tas. There's been a lot of cut your nose offs, and there's been a lot of people doing wonderful pirouettes this evening. So, yes, good luck to race control deciphering this.
Stephen Barker-Hamilton mentions it, or says in YouTube chat as this battle for ninth continues, Forster prevailing in that one. It says, made too many mistakes and was annoyed by myself. If there wasn't a drop round, then I would have stuck at it. But there is a drop round, so you can let this one go. Although it just, to know that round one's going to be a drop round puts a lot of pressure on the rest of the season.
Yeah, I think I might have been wanting to see how far I could get there. Sean Atkinson lost his monitor on lap 7. So unfortunately, Mr. Atkinson, it was this one, yeah. But sure, he's already. I'm probably going to presume it's about now because he just has no idea where he is.
Yep.
So yeah.
He's got himself out the way though, and will finish down the field, unfortunately. So quite a few retirements in the end, but this is bound to happen with a bigger field. You're bound to see people ending the race in the pit lane. Meanwhile, this is the battle for the highest position in the field, and it's the battle for the lead, involving the leader in Pro-Am, catching Lee Rylands here, and so there may not be too much fighting to do, because I can't imagine Gersons will be particularly desperate to get into 5th.
No, I don't think he really needs to, does he? Let's be real about it. You've got Peter Duke closing, mind you, is 2 seconds behind you. So if he feels Rylands is going to hold him up, then I think, then he'll make that move. But if Rylands isn't going to likely to hold him up, then I'm guessing Maguson's there's really no point. So that's my However, things like that are not going to help his situation. He's now 1.6, so he's lost 3 attempts already.
It's a pretty big call to make here. There'll be 2 laps to go at the end of this one, by the way. I think we've got an extra 3 laps compared to our opening race. So 2 more at the end of this one, as far as I can work out, with less than 3 minutes to go now in the race. Scott McFall's going to go over the line, and it's a couple of laps of honour for him now as he goes over. Gersons with a big decision to make here, and with the gap coming down, I would be getting a bit nervous about that and wanting to make a move, maybe on the back straight next time round, but if he's got a good run here, he might go for it.
Yeah, if he's going to have a go, you might as well have a go down into turn 1. The problem is if you have that go and you get it all completely wrong, which is what Gersons is attempting to do, and Rylands is not going to quite give him up. Gersons is can't come over. You can't come over, and all the while this is doing this, that gap, look behind, it's just coming down. It has come down 1.2 now for Gersons. Yeah, he got through, but is he going to be able to hang on because he's got the straight coming up?
Yeah, that's true. So he needs a very good run out of turn 4, and he needs to defend, but it has allowed Duke just to get the slipstream from Rylands, and if this goes well in his favour, then he'll be right in this. Look at Gersons now. Does he go on the defensive, or does he trust Rylands to stay behind? What does Rylands do himself? I wouldn't want to be part of this, to be honest, if I was a pro driver. Here we go. Outside line. Brakes later. And he stays behind. That's probably the best thing he could have done in that situation. But again, now Duke is right behind him, and he'll be wanting to get through. Kennedy and Forster fighting for 9th place. They were side by side over the line last time round, and they're side by side again now. Kennedy prevails, and now Forster and Sharp are side by side, with White gaining on the both of them. The battles are coming to their ends now as the last lap is just round the corner.
Yeah, they're coming very thick and fast there as well, and Sharp's going to try and go round. If Forster comes over, Sharp's going to go up your inside. He's already going. He was already going. You've got to be aware of the door being left open. You shut it or don't, but now Sharp's going to give him room on the outside here for Forster. He is in the lead at the in front, just I think on that one.
Just about, not too far in front, but he is He is only just into turn one. Oh, big dive from Sharp. There he goes to the inside line. He's pulled it up in time and given the room, to be fair to him, but it was a late and an extravagant move. Outside line is not going to work for him, but this battle will continue into the rest of the final lap. It looks like the one for the lead in Pro-Am will slightly go away, as Gusson still has that one car buffer over Duke.
Yeah, there's still, you see all four of them here. It's kind of like a draft train pushing each other along. Rylands isn't going to be close enough going into the hairpin this time around, and Duke's not going to be anywhere near him to be able to make the move either. So Goossens might be able to hang on. This is the Andy White. Well, you can see Sharp was in there. You've got to... Oh, these swappers. They scare me.
Down the inside for Forster, or at least in defence anyway. He will hang on to 10th place. Meanwhile, Scott McFall hanging on to another win. He's started exactly where he left off. He shows that taking this title away from him is going to be very, very difficult indeed. He does the double at Okayama to get his season off to the perfect possible start. It's Scott McFall who wins again in Japan ahead of Oliver Bultnick and Mark Brown, who will finish third for the second time as well. There is Jens Gussens coming across the line, and after an eventful evening, including 7 positions gained in this second race, he wins in Pro-Am. And further behind, Terry Atkinson won in race 1 as well, and looks like he's going to hang on for a second race win in 2 races in the Am class as well.
Yeah, great job. There's a couple of double winners here. Scott McFall wrapping up the pros, Atkinson wrapping up the AMs there. So a great job with Terry. Dave Clark in behind. He's got Peter Woodmore chasing him down, and Scott Bell taking a podium here as well. So fantastic job from some of these guys as they come over the line. John Johnson, Scott Bell. Johnson does finish in front of Bell there as well. But yeah, an amazing second race. I did think there was going to be a little bit few more ta-ta-tas than what there possibly was there, but yeah, great job from all of them.
It certainly was. Final couple of drivers will cross the line, and we'll get those results up to you, and hopefully chat to a couple of drivers after the race, because there's plenty to talk through. There's Tim Walters and Stephen Wild over the line to finish the race. So it's Scott McFall again who wins. He does the double in pro and overall to finish 4.1 seconds ahead of Oliver Bultnick. It's Mark Brown, third place finish for him today, ahead of Scott Brown, making good of his first appearance in pro. Jens Gussens wins for the first time in Pro-Am, here ahead of Lee Rylands and Peter Duke, with Jack Holland, Neil Kennedy and Dan Forster rounding up the top 10. Andrew Sharp and Andy White were the final drivers within half a minute of the race winner. Alan McCain was 13th, ahead of Terry Atkinson, who is the first of the AMs, also does the double here today. Dave Clark finishes 15th, ahead of Peter Woodmore. In 16th, John Johnson and Scott Bell, 17th and 18th. Further down, it's Adrian Hadfield, Michael Vester and Anthony Jones, the final drivers within a minute of the winner, and the last drivers to finish, Tim Walters and Stephen Wild. Curtis Matthews finished 1 lap down at the end, with Sean Atkinson 6 laps down after his monitor turned off. Mark Proctor crashed at turn 2 and was out. Stephen Parker Hamilton is self-admittedly taking this as his drop week. And Newton Carvalho spun around on the opening lap of the race, out of the race, finishing in 28th. What a dramatic opening to the race it was as well, and it produced quite an interesting race too as well. Reverse grid that doesn't actually have a huge effect on the racing, I don't think, because the same driver won both times overall, and you know, because it's only the top 6, means that it doesn't change too much, but there was certainly a lot of action in that second race. Thought we weren't going to get anyone there, but Mark Brown will now join us. Welcome in, Mark. Good to have you with us. And a double third place finish, double podium for you here today. Tell us about the evening generally and how that result will go down with you. Are you pleased?
Yeah, overall pleased. Just a bit. Well, I haven't been on really this last couple of weeks, so I haven't. So I just jumped in this evening there and jumped into the race. The whole fuel's different and starts is different to everything, but yeah, so it just threw me off for the first race, and then yeah, it was okay, I suppose. 2/3. Second race, Jack, he spun in front of me, and of course then I nearly spun then, and I lost the draft of Oliver and Scott McFall, but yeah, overall not too bad, can't complain.
Without that big slide, how much longer do you think you could have stayed in the slipstream of those two ahead? Because in the end, Scott McFall did get rid of everybody and won by 4 seconds. How long do you think you could have stayed there?
Well, once Scott broke Oliver, I started to pull a bit of time back on him there. I think it took maybe 3/4 of a second back of him. And then in the last lap, I sort of messed a bit of breaking up on the first corner, and so dropped a bit of game. But yeah, if Scott would have got away from Oliver more quicker and not pulled him along, I'd say I could have challenged Oliver. But it is what it is. First night, and yeah, a bit of fun. So clean enough, can't complain.
That's what we're all here for, after all. Is there anyone you'd like to give a shout out to before we let you go?
Yeah, just yourselves, for the great broadcast. Good to have you back this year and this season. Yeah, and thanks Tanso and all the rest. So hopefully it keeps going. I think it was a good grid there this evening. How many was there in total this
28
evening?
tonight, yeah.
Yeah, not too bad. Not too bad. So yeah, all good. Can't complain.
Absolutely, a good grid indeed. And yeah, thanks very much for the kind words. Thanks very much for coming to chat to us too, and we'll hopefully see you next week.
Yeah, not a problem. Take care and all the best.
Thanks very much, Mark Brown there, the third place finisher in both race 1 and 2. I think that's all the interviews we're going to get here tonight, James, but a good way to kick off the season, and we'll be here live for the next 5 weeks with the rest of the season. It should be good. Just as we were offering our closing thoughts, Dan Forster has popped himself in. So should we have a chat with him? Why not? I suppose. I tried to find where he finished first of all in this thing. Oh yeah, there you go. Podium, third place in Pro-Am in race 2. Welcome in, Dan. Good to have you with us. Third place in the second race. How was that one for you?
It was not too bad, but it was a hard slog from 21st to get up there, and I knew I wasn't going to place particularly well because of my nightmare first race. So all you can do is do what you can when you grid 21 like that. So it was good fun though.
Well, tell us about that first race a little bit as well. Then I mean, it was a long comeback for you, and how did it affect your mood, race 1 going into the second one after you'd started down the field?
Yeah, well, there was a bit of a pile up. I think it was turn 4 or something like that, and I had to slam the brakes on and just wait. There was a car right in front of me just across the track, and I think I lost 4 or 5 places then. And then a bit further down the road, my wheel disconnected while I was going around the complex, and I had to wait like 2 or 3 seconds for it to come back, and then it slid. So I ended up basically dead last, because of those 3 things. And yeah, that just meant I think I got back up to 21st in that first race, and that just means you grid at 21st in the second race. So I knew I was a bit faster than that, but those things sometimes happen.
But they certainly do. Is there anyone you'd like to give a shout out to before we let you go?
Shout out to you guys. I better shout out to the wife as well in case she's watching. And yeah, thanks to Tanso and the sponsors.
Congratulations on your podium in race 2, Dan, and thanks for chatting to us as well.
I'll take it. Yeah, thanks very much. Cheers, gents.
Thanks very much. Dan Forster there, third in the second race in Pro-Am. Curtis Matthews also. I think, by the way, James, you turned your mic off, but anyway.
I haven't done anything. Then again, I was talking. Was I talking? Oh, maybe I was. Never mind.
Been talking to myself, maybe, for the last few months.
That's all right. That's not the first time, is it? Let's be real.
It's not the first time, absolutely. No. Curtis Matthews also now joining us before we go. Welcome in as well, Curtis. Good to have you with us. How did you find your evening or afternoon, I should say, here at Okayama?
Dizzy. I could say that. A little spinach. That's for dang sure. Yeah, but it was fun.
Yeah, well, I'm glad you had fun as well. I mean, what were you expecting from this circuit before we went racing here? I find it's not a circuit used very often. Once you actually graduate from the rookie class in iRacing, you don't often see it again. What was your thoughts on it when you knew it was the first round?
Well, you know what? I ran on here before, I guess through the rookies and through old guys racing league, and I didn't fare that bad. But today, I don't know. I thought I was high hopes because I ran with the old guys racing league earlier in their morning coffee cup, so I felt amped. I was ready to go for this one, and unfortunately, it just didn't come to me like the other one did.
Yeah, you've been featuring a lot on the on our broadcast this afternoon and earlier on as well. Is there anyone you'd like to give a shout out to before we let you go?
Well, I just wanted to say great race for Scott as always, and John for hosting this. Ever since I found this group, I have a blast. Being from America and all these guys are from like Great Britain. It's definitely a different language barrier, but I'm learning, and it's a lot of fun to talk to these guys and get better with their accent. Other than that,
Hold on, Curtis. What do you mean a better language barrier? We speak English like you do.
yeah, the accent though. John's accent is.
Oh,
I had to,
yeah, he's got a different language, mate. He speaks Scottish.
yeah, so I have a translator that I had to bring onto the race.
I'd love to have seen Scott, John get translated, especially when he talks fast, mate. When he talks fast.
Oh yeah, when I first started racing with them, I was like, they would ask me questions. I'm like, I don't mean to sound rude, but what did you say?
Yeah, okay, mate, I got you now. Don't worry. I thought you were talking about the English people, not John.
Oh no, you guys are all great. I have a blast. I just want to say, thank you for having us, and thank you for letting me to jump on the interview process. I'm the car with all the corgis on it. So because we breed Pembroke Welsh corgis, for Great Britain, with the past Queen's corgis. So I literally have 8 of them laying next to me as I race every day.
8, goodness me, that's quite busy. Congratulations on your efforts here this afternoon, Curtis, and thanks for coming to chat to us as well.
Hey, great broadcast. Keep it up. You guys are awesome.
Yes.
Thanks very much. Curtis Matthews there chatting to us at the end of racing tonight.
Right.
They keep coming, by the way.
What do you mean they keep coming?
Sean Atkins is there now.
He's had most of it in YouTube chat. What possibly could he speak about? Let's bring him in.
Should we ask him?
Yeah, Sean, what can you say that you haven't said in YouTube chat already, dear sir? How are you?
A little bit disappointed, if I'm honest.
Okay. You
Well,
can't help
I
your
don't
screen
think...
coming off, mate.
You what? Sorry.
You can't help your screen turning off.
No, I mean that's my own little fault. I should have changed that setting before that race started, but it's not been a great night, has it?
I suppose it depends what you were expecting. What were you thinking going into this in terms of how you would do?
Well, I kind of know I can stick with Terry and Dave a little bit, so I kind of hoping it we're going to be a little bit closer in the first race. Obviously, race 1 didn't go to plan with the spin on. Was it turn 4?
Yes, you're coming out the hairpin, weren't you? Out of Atwood.
Yeah, we had some incidents in turn 4. I had to slam the brakes on, and I got a little bit of a shunt from Mr. John Johnston. Couldn't be helped. And then obviously tried to recover in race 2. Monitor turned off, drove into a wall. Kind of funny, really.
Well, sometimes these things happen. Monitors and the like. Is there anyone you'd like to give a shout out to before we let you go?
Mainly, I think John Johnston. Really, I think this series is amazing. It's probably one of the best ones I've ever raced in. There's lots and lots of turnout, and it's just getting better and better season after season.
Yeah, certainly is. Good, and glad that you're a part of it here this season, Sean. Thanks for coming to chat to us, and we'll hopefully see you next week.
No worries, mate. Fantastic broadcast. Keep it up.
Thanks very much, Sean Atkinson there chatting to us at the end of the racing tonight. Well, that finally does do it for us in the TVG Geo 86 series from the Tanso Racing Group. A pleasure to be along for round 1. I'll be alongside Bradley Dalton, as we say, for round 2, coming up next week from Zolder on the 22nd of September. Same time, same place next week here on the JPB YouTube channel, so make sure you join us then. For now, though, I've been Ewan alongside James Parfitt, and until we see you next week at Zolder, it's goodbye for now.